morning. I'm glad to have you with us. Blessings, blessings. I feel like I've already been to church because I had a chance to speak at the Parliament of World Religions at 9 o'clock this morning, and then I dashed over here. So, yeah, I'll share a little bit more about that later in the hour, but just thankful to have you join us and have our beautiful band here with us this morning to, lighten things up. One of the things we do that means so much to us here is to sing. I've heard it said that many people experience their spirituality through music best. So if you're one of those people, then let's just enjoy this time together. If you're here, you can stand as you're able. If you're at home, you can still stand as you're able, and the words will be up here on the screen. Let's sing.
Good morning, everyone. We invite into our experience this morning. Heaven, yes. We are singing a brand new song. We're lifting up a sound. We're bringing heaven down. We are singing a brand new song. We're lifting up a sound. We're bringing heaven down. Let's sing it again. We are singing a brand new song. We're lifting up a sound. We're bringing heaven down. We are singing a brand new song. We're lifting up a sound. We're bringing heaven down, down, down. Come on now. Holy, holy, holy. Everyone is holy. And everywhere I look, I see the glory, glory. Holy, holy, holy. Everyone is holy. And everywhere I look, I see the glory, glory. And we are being the light of God. We're shining like the stars. We're bringing heaven down. We are being the light of God. We're shining like the stars. We're bringing heaven down, down, down. Holy, holy, holy. Everyone is holy. And everywhere I look, I see the glory, glory. Holy, holy, holy. Everyone is holy. Everywhere I look, I see the glory, glory. I see glory. We are singing a brand new song. We're lifting up a sound. We're bringing heaven down. We are being the light of God. We're shining like the stars. We're bringing heaven down, down, down. Holy, holy, holy. Everyone is holy. Everywhere I look, I see the glory, glory. Holy, holy, holy. Everyone is holy. And everywhere I look, I see the glory, glory. Oh, I see the glory. Invite you to look around this morning. Look in those eyes. Behold the glory. Oh, see the light of God. All together we are singing. We are singing a brand new song. We're lifting up a sound. We're bringing heaven down. We are singing a brand new song. We're lifting up a sound. We're bringing heaven down. Did you behold the glory? Ah. Sometimes we just gotta stop and do that. Get it? We get caught up, things get rolling in our lives. But when we pause and we look, within. We see the divine. We look without. We can see the divine. We're all in that river of love and glory, and all that good. Stream of good flows through me. Stream of good, how the sweet waters roll. Stream of good flows through me. Stream of good, how the sweet waters roll. It is rushing, it is pouring, it is flowing. It is God, it is good. I am floating, moving with the water. My source, my supply, my stream of good flows through me. Stream of good, how the sweet waters roll. Stream of good flows through me. Stream of good, how the sweet waters roll. It is rushing, it is pouring, it is flowing. It is God, it is good. I am floating, moving with the water. My source, my supply, my stream of good. It is rushing, it is rushing, it is pouring, it is flowing. It is God, it is good. I am floating, moving with the water. My source, my supply, my stream of good. Moving with the water, my source, my supply, my stream of good. Moving with the water, my source, my supply, oh, my stream of good.
Such beautiful words this morning. Wow. Just tying so beautifully with where we're headed in this hour. So just trust that Spirit has presented these ideas here this morning for a purpose. That even when we're singing, the words are a purpose. They become a prayer in our hearts if we let it. So let's close our eyes for a moment and connect with that divine presence. Feel that stream of good. Feel that we are that stream of good. That we are that flow of water of the divine. We thank you, Spirit, that despite appearances of anything going on in our life, that stream flows for good. We know it, we trust it, we allow it to be. And so it is. Amen. We love to say some words here together every week to remind us of that truth, that stream, to help us remember that no matter what's going on in our lives, that there is nothing working against us. So if you'll join me in speaking our invocation, the words are up here on the screen. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. And so it is. You may be seated.
You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. And I will sing again. Let's sing that again. You are beautiful. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. And I will sing again. You are so good to me. You are so good to me. You heal my broken heart. You are my Father in heaven. You are so good to me. You heal my broken heart. You are my mother in heaven. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. And I will sing again. You're right upon the clouds. You lead me to the truth. You are the Spirit inside me. You ride upon the clouds. You lead me to the truth. You are the Spirit inside me. Oh, you are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. Yeah. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. And I will sing again. You are my song melody. You are my dancing rhythm. You are my perfect ride, and I will sing of you forever. You fill me with your love. You fill me with your light. You are the one that lives through me. You fill me with your love. Oh, you fill me with your love. You fill me with your light. You are the one that. Let's sing that verse again as an invitation. Come fill me with your love. Fill me with your love. Fill me with your light. You are the one that lives through me. Oh, come and fill me with
You
your
fill
love.
me with your love.
Fill me with your
Fill
light.
me with your
You
light.
are the one that lives through me. You are beautiful.
You are
Beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. Yeah. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. And I will sing again. You are the Spirit around me. You are the Spirit within me. You are the one that lives through me.
Thank you. Beautiful. Good to feel that truth, yes. When I was in seminary, we covered a lot of ground in a very short period of time. And one of the things we were trained to do is to be with people who are going through grief over the loss of a loved one. And, they train you in the 5 stages of grief and how to watch for those and support people through it. It's the denial and the anger and the bargaining, and then there's the depression, and then ultimately acceptance. And it sounded very cut and dry and easy to follow and easy to recognize until you're actually with someone who's going through grief, and they don't necessarily follow that plan. They don't necessarily follow that order. They have their own way of experiencing grief. And I'm sure any one of you who have lost a loved one, it's been a very personal process for you. Something that I just feel like I'm going to offer today. It's going to be my experience. So once again, I'm just going to say, take what works for you and leave the rest. I mentioned earlier that I was at the Parliament of World Religions online this year, first time they've done that, and invited to speak by a gentleman, Dr. Balwant Singh Hansra, who was a guest speaker for us through a video interview that we did when we were doing the interfaith interviews. Do you remember that? And he was representing the Sikh faith. Well, he is very tied to the Parliament of World Religions, and he was coming up with various topics to create panels for. And he came across this particular topic, and he chose me and a couple other people in Nova Scotia to come together and share our own ideas about it. Now, the other 2 women that were there today were both of the Sikh tradition. So it was interesting that, I was the only representative of the unity point of view and the human point of view. But I had to start by saying that this is divine timing for me because I, really up here on the screen is the topic. Let's go to the next slide, please. The Sikh spirit of Chardi Kala as a cure for grief. So first of all, I had to do a little research on Chardi Kala and find out what that was. And I told them that, for Dr. Hansra to invite me to speak on this subject, it turns out I knew something about it, as I'm experiencing the grief still of the loss of my mother. And October happens to be the anniversary month of when I lost my father. So I was ripe and ready to be part of this discussion. Even though I wasn't of the Sikh faith, I discovered that we have many similarities in unity that I was so excited about. And one of the things is that they speak of the Sikh community as spirit-born people. Don't you love that? Spirit-born people, which made me think of how we talk about being spiritual beings, right? Having a human experience. And another similarity is up on the wall in front of our building. It says, Unity, a positive path for spiritual living. Well, it turns out that Chardi Kala is about a positive attitude in life. It's a spirit of eternal optimism, of forward thinking, of looking at the bright side. It talks about revealing your divine light from within, making that be what your life is about. And I thought, wow, this is right up Unity's alley. Yes? So when we got to this subject, I really started looking at the descriptive words they use for Chardi Kala, and the one that kept jumping out at me was attitude. It's an attitude, a positive attitude. And what I would say in Unity is that an attitude is a choice, yes? So it's not necessarily a spirit that will overtake us, overwhelm us, make us feel a certain way. It has to be chosen, right? And we would say that in this spirit of optimism, that we want to be in that attitude because we also believe that we create our life experience through our thoughts and our feelings and our beliefs. What are those? Attitude, yes? And so, of course, we want to make sure that what dominates our thinking, so we therefore create, is something positive, something of truth, something based on spirit. And this we come from believing by what Jesus told us, that as you believe, so it shall be done to you. You know, some of the other things he said was, ask and it's given, seek and you'll find. You've been given the keys to the kingdom, so whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven. Loosed on earth will be loosed in heaven. Even Paul got into the story when he said that you reap what you sow. So you can kind of feel this reciprocal law being engaged, and it's being engaged with our beliefs. So what we're holding in consciousness has the ability to create our life experience. And we would say that the ideal, the Chardi Kala for unity, is spiritual consciousness, choosing thoughts and choosing to see your life through the eyes of God. So of course the eyes of God say, there's nothing here to fear. There's no enemy working against me. There's no separation from me and the ones that I love. This idea of God being love means that the Spirit of God sees everything working together, and it has a desire to create good in every experience. That's Chardi Kala, that's spiritual consciousness. That's what we seek to live from in unity. But, you know, the spiritual ideal requires that choice. And sometimes, maybe more times than not, our human being takes over making the choices, right? Our human being is dominated by that sense consciousness, which means, what do my 5 physical senses tell me about the situation? What do I see with my eyes? What do I hear with my ears? And when we do that, of course, it's very easy to fall into fear, to feel separated, to feel alone, to feel like a victim, to have the need to judge others because they're not like us. And we can easily go into that feeling, we're most human, when we're experiencing grief. But one thing that I want to emphasize today is that it is not our spirit that is grieving. It is not our spirit that grieves, because when you think about it, our true nature is eternal and has one foot planted in the spiritual dimension right now. So when a loved one disappears from our life, from our vision, from our ears, from being able to touch, then it's possible for the human being to feel grief, but our spirit never lost contact with our loved one, right? Our spirit right this now is probably having a conversation with our loved ones on the other side. So it's not the one that feels the grief. Grief is based out of human-born beliefs. Where did she go? I'll never see her again. My life is over. I can't move forward without her. I don't know what life will be like in the future without her, and how can I move forward? And it's just too much pain. It's too much effort to try and move past this. And even me, the great and powerful kitty monster. That's so funny. I meant to say kitty minister, and it came out kitty monster. So, either way, Freudian slip, I guess. Yeah. I know that my mom is eternal. I know that she's in a spiritual dimension, that she's enjoying her life experience still. I know that her love is all around me, and that ultimately I will see her again. I believe that she had a purpose here that she's completed, and it's time for her to move on. I know all that, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to get these overwhelming waves of grief coming up with no warning. Just seems to come out of nowhere. And in those moments where I, am truly feeling overwhelmed, it's kind of difficult to move into that positive attitude, right? That hopeful feeling. It's something that, the ego wants to continue on with our relationship. I want to continue on being able to hug her and talk to her and be with her whenever I want. So sometimes I even make it worse for myself. We created a video of my mom's life that we showed at the memorial service, and it was put on a private YouTube channel for the family to look at. So every once in a while, I go back and look at it, and I just sob and sob and sob. There's a part of me that says, that's good. You need to relieve that, release that energy in you. But you also have to be careful that you don't get caught up in that, and that it becomes the whole focus of your life is what I no longer have. So let's keep in mind, yes, we're spiritual beings, but grief is a natural result of being human. And it's important that we allow these feelings, not suppress them or deny them or even judge them, but that we allow ourselves to feel that grief in our being. If we try and stuff it or pretend like it doesn't exist, it's going to show up somewhere else sooner or later, either in our physical bodies having illnesses or, some kind of dysfunction in another relationship of some kind, or just our ability to function in life. So this is about acknowledging, yes, I hear you, human being, Kitty. I understand. I feel it with you. I feel it with you. And allow it to take as long as it takes. And my darlings, what I've come to know, and just witnessing my friends going through grief, is that everybody's journey is going to take its own time. I have a friend that lost her husband, 2012, I think. And she still spends a lot of time talking about him and his effect on her life and her missing him. And that is none of my business. There is nothing right or wrong about it. We all go through grief in our own way. Now, some of us may actually choose to hang on to the grief for a lot of different reasons. We're consciously choosing to go back into that energy because it's easier than moving on. And to that point, we get to a place where we feel like we've taken up residence in it. I just watched again this old movie called What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams, where, spoiler alert, everybody dies. But then it's about getting trapped somewhere in our belief system, and that it seems very real, and this is all that's available to me, and I can't get beyond it, and that's just the way it's going to be. Or it takes too much energy to try and see beyond what I'm feeling right now. It's just easier to stay focused on what's missing and what we had together in the past. And it's even possible that we feel afraid of going forward in the future because we don't know how to do that on our own. We always had that person there to be our backup system. Or they might have been the one that actually led the way in our relationship, where they were the courageous one. They were the ones that took chances, and we just followed timidly behind. And so now that they're not there in front of us to be doing that, how do we do that? It's just easier to stay in that energy of despair. And as soon as I heard that word despair in my heart, I immediately went back to one of the most sacred truth stories on the planet, Anne of Green Gables. And if you haven't watched the series, I highly recommend it. There's one that's better than the others. It has Colleen Dewhurst in it. Anne was a 12, 13-year-old girl adopted into a family, a couple, brother and sister actually. And Anne was a drama queen. She made a big deal about everything, and there was some small thing happening that she was making a big deal about, and she couldn't get Marilla to come along with her and get, sad and upset and drama along with her. And she said, "Marilla, haven't you ever been in the depths of despair?" And Marilla says, "No, I have not. To feel despair is to turn your back on God." Sounded harsh, but, and interestingly enough, I just came across a quotation from Richard Billings. Anyone know Reverend Richard Billings? He was the minister at Oak Park Unity for so long and was a blessing to me in getting this ministry started. He wrote, "Grief is the failure to recognize the eternal." Now, I want you to take that with a grain of salt, because you can interpret that in many ways. So I would say that grief is the failure to recognize the eternal if your grief is all that you can see. In my mind, it's okay to move back and forth in and out of grief. But when it becomes all-consuming, we have forgotten the eternal. So this is where we come back to what is really behind my grief. And I really started paying attention to when those moments come up in me kind of as a surprise. And then I realized, no, that was not a surprise. I actually was about to make a phone call to call my mom and then realized, no, you can't. Or I was longing to drive down to Peoria and get away from it all. No, you can't. I wanted to sit by the river with my mom and look at the beautiful trees changing color. No, you can't. So am I really missing my mom herself, her energy, her spirit, which is, I know, still with me and I still talk to, or was I resisting change? Was I resisting a change in my routine, for heaven's sakes? I know that that's like, ugh. Really, that's what I'm doing? But I have to be honest with myself. And it just feels like that my grief is sometimes arising because my subconscious is calling for my routine, and routine can no longer answer. Does that make sense? So one of the things that I've been trying to do lately is think about the bigger picture of life. Why I'm here, why she was here. And the thing that I believe as a unity minister and just as a spiritual being is that life is all about change. It's coming here, it's having these experiences, and it's learning and it's growing from them. It's facing new challenges. And it's also an opportunity for my soul to know itself more deeply. And the reason that I think I chose to come here and have that experience is because as a spiritual being, how can I truly know what my eternal nature is if I've never experienced death? How do we really know as a spiritual being what eternity is and that I'm eternal if we've never had an endpoint in our life? We have nothing to compare it with. We can't really know the depths of what eternal means if we've never experienced an end in our life. How can we truly know what our oneness as a spiritual being, one with all that is, how can we really know the depths of that until we've also experienced the opposite of it, the feeling of separation, which, wow, is rampant as a human being, right? So is it possible that I came here, my parents came here, we all came here as spiritual beings to put ourselves in an environment that will create and cause challenges for us so that we can come to know more deeply what and who we are as spiritual beings? And that once we truly get a hold of that, it's an opportunity for us to transform, transcend that limited situation. One of the things we quote Jesus as saying is that in this world, there's going to be trouble. There's going to be challenges, but take courage, take heart, for I have overcome that. I have overcome this limited experience. And when we hear Jesus say, I have overcome, we also know that it is the I am within all of us that has overcome, if we allow it to be. That's part of the spirit of Chardi Kala and saying yes to that. So I'm recognizing I'm here, I'm resisting change, but I can also see that I'm here to grow my spirit. And am I willing to grow my spirit, to evolve and to, yes, experience these losses, but then also rise up above them? So lately I've been looking at my mom's life and see how she did it. She came into this life in 1929, right at the beginning of the Depression. Yeah, so she dealt with that as a human challenge. By the time she was 5 years old, she was being asked to help care for an invalid sister. A sister that could no longer speak or walk and was just a little bit scary to her, but at 5 years old, she was being given responsibility to take care of her sister. She also grew up in a family where before she turned 20, her dad passed away. So she never had a chance to walk down the aisle with her dad on her arm. She was a woman who, she had a husband, well, she married a man who basically 2 days later, after the wedding, got on a boat and went to Korea. And so she stayed at home for a year and a half, wondering if she would ever see her husband again. Thankfully, he did come home, and then she nourished and nurtured him and 5 kids. You all know who are parents, what that might be like. A few challenges there, yes. She not only went through the depression, but she went through bouts of depression in her life. She experienced physical illness. She experienced emotional issues. She experienced financial loss. And she allowed the spirit of Chardi Kala to dominate in her life. She was not a whiner. She was not someone who pointed at herself and said, woe is me. She was someone who was continually looking for ways to nurture others, to help them see the best in themselves, to pray for them, to sing for them, to raise their spirits, to point them in the direction of God. So she came here as a spiritual being. She had plenty of challenges in her life, and she also had the opportunity to raise her consciousness and remember who she really was. Spiritual being that can transcend these experiences. So she knew at some point it was time for her spirit to move on. She had finished her purpose here. She'd gone through her challenges. She'd overcome them. She'd seen a new way. She was ready to have the next level of growth in her life, which was outside the body. So part of my moving through grief is to recognize that that is what she did with her life, and I can honor what she did with her life by me choosing to do the same thing, to accept the challenges, but then transcend the challenges. And my grief is just one of those challenges. It's me experiencing the hardship of losing a loved one, but it's also me as a spiritual being with the opportunity to see beyond it, to see how God sees this, to see how my mother sees death right now, to recognize that I am still filled with the Spirit of God. And one of the 12 powers that we speak about here in Unity is we have the power to take dominion over any thoughts that seem to have held us hostage. Our power of power, or our power of dominion, our power of authority is I can choose which mental processes will dominate my life. That's the spirit of Chardi Kala, as long as what we dominate with is spirit-based. And that takes practice when we're in the midst of our grief. It takes practice. That's all there is to it. That's all I can say is that this is a choice that we choose over and over and over again. We choose God. We choose the light within. We remember that we're spiritual beings, and that what we see with our eyes, what we feel so deeply with our emotions is temporary. And it does not have to be the end for us, or the end of a relationship, or the end of our life experience as we knew it. That I can now become something brighter than I was before because my mother has been here. You know, she left a big hole. She was a big encourager and supporter and someone who was always there for family. And with her gone, I've got 10 nieces and nephews looking for their grandma. And it might be my opportunity now to express that divine light that she was in my own unique ways. But just I have stopped sending cards. Does anybody send cards anymore? My mom would send cards for every possible occasion to everyone. I actually started doing that again. Or at least sending my nieces and nephews a text or something, just saying, I'm thinking about you today. Hope you have a good day. We can allow our challenges to deepen our understanding of who we are and then transcend them, transform them into light. When I spoke this morning to, I don't know how many were watching, but on the Parliament of World Religions, this particular panel and topic was very clearly a topic about the sick faith. So I don't know if there was anyone there besides me that wasn't of the sick faith. It was my opportunity to share how Unity addresses these challenges in a practical way, and one of them is through our affirmations of prayer. And so I just sat there, just like I do with you guys in the morning. I just sat there and said, let me just say this, and then you can repeat it back. I'm going to ask you to do that with me now. Let's put these up here on the screen for us. These are affirmations that hopefully can transform your thinking about grief. Let's say this together. Are we there? There we go. The comforting presence of God is always with me. Oh, where's the next? There we go. Sorry, that's weird. Okay, let's just put it all up there, Cindy. Keep going, keep going, keep going. I'm sorry. That animation function. There we go. All right, let's say the first one together. The comforting presence of God is always with me. Just take a moment to feel that. That when you're feeling the loss, and this doesn't even have to be just about someone who's passed, the loss of a job, the loss of a loved one, the loss of your health for the moment, the loss of finances. These are all ways to comfort, to realize, transcend. Let's say the next one. The power of God inspires and strengthens me. Just feel that no matter how hard it is, that power is still within us. And here's the last one. Divine love calms my mind and lifts my heart. Now, I'm not saying that saying some spiritual affirmations is going to take all your pain away. I may feel those waves of pain come over me once in a while for the rest of my life. And as long as we don't allow it to be the only feeling we feel, as long as we keep choosing to turn our thoughts towards God, the light, the wisdom, the love, the strength, the supply that God is and offers to be through us, when we can continue to turn our thoughts back in that direction, then we have the opportunity to ease that hurt and transcend it, to become that divine light that we came here to be in this particular challenge, in every challenge. It's an opportunity for our spirit to grow and to be a light for others. If my mom can do it, so can I, yes? So how about if we take some time in meditation and let's see if we can just come to some ideas that will help us. This is a chance for us to turn away from what's going on in our life, to consciously choose to put our attention on God. We center ourselves by taking a deep breath through our heart. I breathe in peace. I release all stress. As my breath returns to its natural rhythm, I remember that it is God that is breathing me. And though I feel or may feel a loss, an end, a lacking in my life, it is only a human experience. It has no true foundation. And so I remember in this moment, when I feel separate, I am truly one. I am one with all beings who have come and gone from this planet. I am one with God's strength, that allows me to keep choosing good over and over again. I am one with God's wisdom to know when and how to move forward. I am wise in this loss. I am one with God's peace. When I'm feeling the humanness, the churning, the anxiety, I am one with the peace that passes all understanding. When I feel robbed of all my good, I remember I am one with divine love that is my good, that works for my good, that sees and knows and expresses good through me. All that I need in this human experience is provided from within. I am the light that has overcome the world, and in truth, all is well. And so it is. Amen. It's a process. It takes a while, right? Go at your own pace, but just remember, I am not alone. I am one with the one. This is an opportunity in our service where we begin to think about how, as I am one with God, how I might be God in the world in a practical way. We give you an opportunity to share your tithes and your love offerings as one of those demonstrations. There's only one way that God can give, and that is through us. And so I am just deeply grateful for your willingness to be that demonstration of love and giving as we support these spiritual truths and allow them to continue to grow and expand and be heard in many new places through many new ears and faces. I'll just invite you to help us bless what we give today with our offering blessing that's up here on the screen. Would you say it with me together, please? Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am grateful. Thank you. Ushers, will you come, please?
So blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Hi, I'm Kathy Folser. I'm here to read the announcements. But I do have to say, that was so powerful. Here I go. You know, and I always say one of the things I love about Unity in Naperville in particular is that powerful Reverend Kitty Monster is, thank you, Mark, is so real. I mean, she walks the Unity talk and is so real about her struggles and her path. And that kind of lets me off the hook because I struggle with my path and I think, Reverend Kitty's, oh, well, okay, well then maybe I'm not doing so bad. So thank you, Reverend Kitty. That's So anyway, announcements. Okay, so if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. We're just glad to have you here, whether you're in person, online. I hope that you can just really feel our hearts, feel our spirits. We are uplifted, we are uplifting, we're a loving community, and it's just great to be together. So thanks for coming. And if you're not here for the first time, if you've been here before, thanks for coming. It's great to see you again. So, if you want to know more about what's going on at Unity in Naperville, we have a website, unityinnaperville.org. Lots of information on there. You can also send an email to admin@unityinnaperville.org, and Melody will get you all set up with our weekly newsletter. And you know, I realize I don't say Melody's name enough. Melody is the living, breathing human being behind our admin@unityinnaperville.org. So thank you, Melody, for all you do. Okay, so what's going on at Unity? I'm going to zip through these. Event team, Monday at 6:30. We always love new ideas about what we should do at Unity. So if you can't attend the meeting but you have an idea, send Melody an email, admin@unityinnaperville.org. Lunch online, thank you, Cindy Blank, amazing. Is this Tuesday or Thursday? Tuesday at noon. So come, stay for an hour, stay for a few minutes, meet new friends, say hi to your old friends. It's a great way to connect midweek. Courageous Writers, Saturday at 10 a.m. Get your creative juices flowing. And Liz and Cindy. Wow, this has been going on for a couple of years. So Liz Allroth, Cindy Blank. Thank you so much. So for more information, again, email Melody, admin@unityinnaperville.org, or go on our website for all the details. And as always, we have one-on-one prayer support available after the service. Send an email to prayer@unityinnaperville.org by 1 p.m. and one of our chaplains will contact you. I can't believe this. Last week it was summer, and now we're getting ready for Christmas. So the Evergreen sale is open now. So you remember the fresh evergreens we did last year. Jeff's on his way up. He wants to talk about it.
Kathy's doing a fine job, really, but I just want to point out not only the wonderful variety, but the fact that this can be, and we certainly hope it will be, a major fundraiser for the church. So, and don't worry about ordering anytime. It's not going to turn up at your door next week. I mean, we have to have our orders in by November 15th, but even if they're placed tomorrow, you're not going to get your wreaths or swags or whatever until late November, early December. So go for it whenever you want to, and please share it with your family, either by buying them gifts, or you can give them the link and the password and they can buy gifts themselves. So this is great. Here you go.
Okay, next time you do that, I want the Christmas hat back. So thank you, Jeff. Okay, so online, join Reverend Kitty online for our Healing Prayer Circle. Okay, so that's a week from Tuesday, October 26th, 7 p.m. to learn about spiritual principles behind healing prayer and practice a powerful prayer format to support your requests. So this is a Zoom event, so go to our event calendar at unityinnaperville.org and then follow the link there. If you have a healing request, you can email that to revkitty at unityinnaperville.org. And I will say, this is just a sacred event. If you are able to participate, it is very healing. It's beautiful. Okay, Halloween Sunday. This is fun. I've been thinking about my costume. I've got one picked out. Costumes are optional, but if you want to have fun, come in costume. Send a Halloween photo also for our slideshow. That'll be a good time. So send that to Melody, admin at unityinnaperville.org by October 28th. You can carve a pumpkin that we'll display up here during the service. You can decorate your car, enjoy parking lot fun and games. So this will be a good time. The donation to participate will be a monetary donation to the Marie Wilkinson Food Pantry. So thank you in advance for participating. That's going to be a really good time. Yeah, and details again, unityinnaperville.org. And did you want to say anything about the town hall? Do you want me to? Okay. Town hall meeting Sunday, November 7th. There's always good information to be had there. And this sounds like it's going to be particularly exciting. So, but brief, so you won't have to spend your whole day here. This will be right after the service. So if you're online, just stay online. If you're here, just stay here. We'll do it quick and in a hurry. I have some great information for you about what's coming next at Unity. Yes, ma'am. It's Zoom. Oh. Okay. So it is not live stream. So if you're joining online, you'll need to go back to the event calendar on the website, and then you'll find the Zoom link, and then you'll get to the meeting. Thank you, Reverend Kitty. Yes. So we'd love to have you participate online. We'd love to have you participate here in person. So thank you all. Have a wonderful week. Let's stand as you're able and have one more song. Thank you, highest good. Thank you.
You know, it strikes me, Kitty, that this song is so Chardi Kala, right? So we sing it in that spirit together. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing love today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing love today. We choose peace. I'm choosing peace today. I'm choosing peace today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing peace today. One more time, heaven. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today.
I always run the risk of speaking about something so private and personal and deep from a point of view that is not the same as yours. And for this topic today to be so personal, I just encourage you that if you are going through something in your grieving process that I wasn't able to support today, but you would like to talk with me more, I am just so happy to be there for you. So let me know outside before you leave that you'd like to set up a time to chat. If you're online and you want to chat, send me an email back to revkitty@unityinnaperville.org, and I will be glad to be with you in this. Thank you for that. And here's an affirmation, once again, a way to get to that spirit of Chardi Kala that we do all the time, every week. Let's say this together. Life never ends, and light is always with me. Let's say that one more time. Life never ends, and light is always with me. I'm so grateful to have been in your spirit today and your spirit online, and I look forward to seeing you next week. I just want to give you a heads up. We're going to go back to our 9 a.m. format next week, which means a meditation service. It's not all meditation. I'll still be doing a Sunday message, but we will be doing a 15-minute meditation. So it gets a little quieter in here. We don't do a lot of announcements. We don't do a lot of music or any music. It'll just be a chance to really go within. So didn't want to surprise you. That's the way it'll be next week. Hope you'll join me for that. I'll see you then. Love you guys. Love you. Thank you.